Once again, welcome to our home groups training. Today we are going to learn this word, complacency. And maybe not learn it, maybe just talk about it. You may know this word already. So what do you do to avoid complacency when it comes to home groups? And I get it. I know our children being online right now during this COVID crisis, that they're becoming complacent, sitting in front of a computer trying to learn what they used to learn in a classroom setting. And it can seem like they too have become complacent, where they have to drag themselves to class just to sit in front of a monitor. So how do we avoid complacency when it comes to a home group? In the book of Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16, it tells us this, that a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again. However, the wicked shall fall by calamity. Now, when we read that scripture, we love the first part that says a righteous man or a righteous person may fall 7 times and yet rises again. We like that part because it shows us that we can rise up again. We don't like the other part though, but the wicked shall fall by calamity. In other words, when hard times hit, how are we going to respond? So when we are in a hard time like this, a lockdown, a crisis, a pandemic, or right now being at home viewing church online, when these things happen and it's not the normal way of doing things that we've been used to, we have to remember a couple of things. One is that our bodies go through difficult times too. Our neurons, the way we think, the chemicals in our bodies shift because it's not normal. So our body goes through changes too. We feel anxious. We are now in a different season and we have to get used to new habits. The second thing is our soul is affected because we go through different emotions. And when our soul goes through different emotions, how do we respond? Because we're not used to it. And then, of course, the third thing is our heart. Our heart, which is the seat of our emotions, or what God looks into, which is the determining factor of how we're living things out, our heart gets tainted by everyday difficulties and everyday problems. And then it comes all the way back to our relationship with Jesus. So those 3 areas get affected. Well, what do we do when we come to a season like this? And how do we avoid complacency? I'm going to give you just an illustration of how this scripture comes in handy. And you may know it as the S curve. The S curve teaches us that life consists of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. So we go through this. We love the mountaintops. We love the view. We're excited because great things are happening. We're excited because we can see the beautiful landscape. We can see the sky. We're close to the heavens at night. We can see the stars. So we love the mountaintops. But we don't like the deep valleys. We don't like being in this area. So this is the area that we try to avoid. In the book of Psalms, chapter 23, it's the shepherd psalm. But there's a part in there that says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are with me. Interesting that it's in the valleys that God is saying, I am with you. Oh, he's still with us on the mountaintops. But he's reminding us that in this period, this time, this season, he's still with us. So complacency is a result of forgetting that God is with us. I can tell you this, the greatest times of growth will come not on the mountaintops. It'll come from the deep valleys. This is where God forges the disciple, the believer, the person who's saying, God, I give you my all. We may never avoid complacency, but we can definitely learn when we get there. This season, this time, wherever we are in the valley, just remember that God is with us. Complacency, even though it may happen, can still be used for the glory of God. So when you feel yourself falling into complacency, don't say to yourself, how do I avoid this? Say to yourself, God, how can you use this? And watch what God does. So no matter what, even though we fall into these valleys, or even on the mountaintops, always remember that God is with us. Thanks for joining us today. We hope that you continue to thrive in your home groups.